everybody. This is Christine Duffney from Vina Moses.
Well, thank you for listening to all of us this evening. And you can just take one and pass it around. This is just sort of an outline of what I'll be talking about, so it might make it a little easier to remember. Because I know it's been a long day for all of you, as it has been for us. So, the Vina Moses Center provides clothing, household items, and personal hygiene items, this type of thing, for low-income families in Benton County. A family can be an individual, a family can be a family of 8 or 10, or a homeless person would also be included in that. And when I say that we provide clothing and household items, it sounds like, you know, oh, that's what you do. When people come into the center and they look around, they realize that that's pretty all-encompassing what we really have there. Every kind of household item you can imagine comes to the center in the form of a donation. And clothing and shoes and purses and clocks and lamps and, you know, all kinds of things that come in. We receive about 9,000 pounds of donated goods every week. And we have volunteers. Most of the volunteers that work in the back sorting are weekly. They come in weekly. Some every day, some come in 1 or 2 days a week. So we have about 25, 30 volunteers that do that, and they sort through all of those items. Because we get so much, the quality of what we put out is very good. We check for, you know, buttons missing or stain or anything like that. We don't put it out. Particularly so with women's clothing, because we get a lot of that. We recycle what we can't use. We recycle the fabric, and if you've been by the center, which I know I recognize some of you know you have, we have the semi in the back parking lot. And we share that semi with the Cat's Meow, OSU Thrift Shop, St. Vincent de Paul, and Vina. I think that's all that use it. And we fill it about every 3 weeks. The reason we have it in our parking lot is most of that comes through us, and those are all the recycled things that we put in there. So over the years, we've cut our garbage bill. I used to come here and complain about our garbage bill being $600-700. And thanks in a large part to the Creval's disposal that has made recycling a little bit easier, although not with the clothing. So anyway, so that's just sort of a bonus for the center that we're able to recycle those clothing items. We serve about 3,500 families every year in our programs, in our combined programs. We have about 13,000 visits to the center for shopping for clothes. So we use the word visit and shopping sort of, they're the same sort of thing. So if you hear me say a visit and then shopping is in the term that they come and pick out what they want, but we don't charge them anything for their clothing or any of the things that they get there. And all of the things are used that have been donated through the community. And our school program, we do make an exception there, and we do buy some new items for that. So the children have new shoes, socks, underwear, and school supplies. And then we have the very best of the used clothing items that they can choose, outfits and coats and that sort of thing. So they start out with something new in it. It's my favorite program that we have. The kids we have it late in August, so they're ready to go back to school. They're excited about it, particularly the younger children, you know, when they get their new, we used to fit their shoes there at the center, and they would just, their little faces would light up, you know. And when they get their school supplies, I remember it was kind of exciting when I was little too, because that was the only time I got a new box of crayons. But now we give them vouchers, and they go and pick out the shoes. And believe me, it's a lot easier on my back, getting up and down and trying shoes on them. We served 1,040 kids last year. That was up about 45 children from the previous year. I've been at Vina for 20 years. The first year I was there, we had 400, I think it was 450 somewhere around in there, children that were in that program. So you can see how much that program, that's probably the fastest growing program that we have. So we do have sponsor, the way we finance that, because it's also very expensive. It's the most expensive program that we do. And we have a sponsor a child, and we get very good response from the community for that. And then we have our Christmas program, and many people recognize us from that because we have giving trees all around town, and we're always in a different location because the program is very large. We have 1,200 families, and it certainly wouldn't happen in our center. 1,200 food boxes would fill this room when you have them all laid out. And then you have to have the food that you're putting in the box, and that, again, would fill it. You couldn't do it in here. And then we also provide gifts for the children 12 and under in that program. That's the only time that we buy food at the center. So that's really not our focus most of the time, but we do buy it for the Christmas program. We do have food, however, at the center. We get bread weekly from the gleaners, and some other items as well. And then often when people move, they bring their food. It's just easier to bring everything to the one place. So we do have a few people in the neighborhood that stop by, or clients that'll stop by just to pick up a loaf of bread on their way home or something. Our clients can only come once a month. I think I probably didn't mention that. And that's how we sort of keep tabs on what's, that we can maintain a good inventory. We do make exceptions for that if a family's transitioning into a home from a shelter, if they got a job and they need particular clothing for that. There's various reasons that we might make an exception, and we do. One thing that can make it difficult with working with me, I'll just say this up front, is I'm not a rule maker. And the reason I'm not a big rule maker is because I'm the first one that breaks it. So I think I'm only going to make a couple so that I don't, get in trouble for breaking the rules. So we have guidelines. And so that's our guideline. The one rule that we do maintain and are strict about is that they live in Benton County. And they do have to prove their what their residency is. And those who can't do that, I would say generally come to us through another organization, through a shelter or the health clinic or the hospital, or somewhere that we're getting some kind of referral for those people. So our volunteers, as I said, we have 20, 30 every week, up to 300 during our Christmas program. We have volunteers that I probably never even see during some of these programs because it's huge. We have a financial assistance program that we added. I keep thinking it's new, but we've had it 10 years. And so what we do on that is we really try to stabilize families and prevent evictions, shut off of their water, their power, their gas, help families get to their doctor's appointments by helping them with gasoline, or get to work that last week of the month when they don't quite have enough money for that. And you all notice the gas prices are up, and so that's really had an increase on the number of requests we have for that. We assisted about 1,830 people with that program last year. Last year we did receive some, I call it FEMA money, but it's something else now, Emergency Shelter and Food Program. And of course this year it looks like we might be not receiving quite as much with that. That program's easy to regulate though, and if we run out of money, we run out of assistance. So anyway, I just got my 1 minute mark. The money that we are requesting here is primarily for operations and salary, but $3,000 of it will go to direct assistance to help with rent or utilities. Okay, quick questions, yes?
So you have 18,000 on here as well?
That's because I combined the two programs. Vina Moses is 12,000 and Fish was 6,000.
So what's FISH?
how's that?
Fish is the financial program, and maybe I may have looked at the
Well, I
wrong,
see, because you've got the, city of Corvallis stuff as part of this.
oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the, and
A
then.
fish is the financial part. It was called Fish Bend County, and so they were gonna close, and so we ended up taking that program. So it's really it's our program now, but we still refer to it as fish. So, and it's, the budget's all separate.
Is there, are people able to come like once a month, or, I mean, or a one-time thing to?
For
the
fish?
Financial help, yeah.
That's a little bit different. It's once a year for rent, twice a year for utilities. Prescriptions, we do a lot of prescriptions. We're pretty lenient with those, although we do try to direct them to other agencies that might be able to help with that. But we do help them more than once. There are some programs that only help them one time.
And we're out of time.
So that means no more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mhm.